Is it worth it to drive for Instacart in 2022? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Tyler from the RideShare Guy. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Instacart and if it's still something that's going to be able to make you money and if it's worth it to drive and to shop for Instacart in 2022. So the short answer to this is it can be, and most likely yes. But the long answer to this is that it's going to depend on exactly how you drive, when you drive, what you do to make the most amount of money. So some people may just quickly say, no, it's not worth it. They look at the batch amounts and they say, hey, most of these batches are difficult to get, or they're not even worth it anymore. The amount of money that's coming isn't going to be the same amount, so it's not worth it to drive for them. And in some areas, that very well may be the case because there's too much saturation and too few areas and too few shops that you can get, especially if you're in a rural area where there's not that many people there. But in a lot of places, especially in cities that you're going to have a lot of people that are needing these groceries, it's going to be worth it. You're going to be able to make a lot of money and enough to support yourself. But let's look at a couple of different strategies and ways that you can make sure that it truly is worth it shopping for Instacart in 2022. So the number one thing that I say for all people that are starting out or have been doing this a while and they say it's not working is to treat it like a job. Now, I know that the number one reason that people sign up to do gig work like Instacart or Uber or any of that is because they like to have their own schedule and their own flexibility, which is a priority, which is something you can do with Instacart and still make money. But you want to make sure that you're treating it like a job, as in you're scheduling the time. You're not just going out whenever you feel like it. Hey, I think I'll go out and make money today. Maybe I'll go out tomorrow. No, you treat it like a job, as in you know you're going to work from this hour to this hour. I'm going to drive from 9 a.m. until noon, or I'm going to drive a full day, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Or I'm going to start at 12 and I'm going to go until 8 at night. Or if you're going to do 4-hour shifts, whatever it is, treat it like a job so that you know exactly when you're going out. Other people, it allows you to have that schedule of other people know you're working during that time. And you still have the flexibility because it's not like you're on a schedule. So if something comes up and you can't work that full shift, or if something comes up and you can't finish that shift, then you can stop and go do whatever it is you need to do. But as much as you can, treat it like a job so that you're getting that schedule, you're getting that down packed, and you know exactly what you're going to do and when you're going to do it. Next, I like to tell people to drive when other people aren't. So a lot of people that are doing this are doing it as a side hustle. They're doing it in between their regular job, which means a lot of nights and a lot of weekends. And so those are also the times that things are going to be busy too. There's going to be a lot of people requesting that because that's when they get home, that's when they need their groceries. But if you actually drive when others don't, so for instance, I have found in my area driving for Instacart between 9 a.m. or actually 8 a.m. when a lot of the grocery stores in my area open, driving until about 11 is the best time. You get the most amount of batches, you make the most amount of money because people, they aren't early risers, but you've got a lot of older people that are ordering these grocery stores. So you're delivering to a lot of 55 and older communities, you're delivering to even some other facilities, but that's a great time in my area to drive. And not only that, there's a lot of people that are now working from home, and so they're trying to get their groceries delivered before their lunchtime so that they can actually make their lunch and enjoy it. So there's a lot of opportunity driving early in the morning, especially in my area. So you're going to want to learn your area and drive when others aren't, because that's when you're going to make the most amount of money. Another thing that's going to make sure that you make the most amount of money driving for Instacart, especially in 2022, is to pick just a few stores. You don't want to pick every single batch that you see, especially if it's a store that you're not familiar with. You want to pick about 4 different stores that are close by that you're going to be able to get to make sure that you know those stores. And that way, when you're looking for an item, you don't have to worry about which aisle it is in this store because you're so familiar with those stores that you're in there every day or every time you're out driving, and you're making the quickest amount. So when Instacart gives you a time and they say should take you about 30 minutes, you're doing it in 10 or 15 because you know where everything is. And as the saying goes, time is money. So if you're able to get a batch done that much faster, then you're able to get to the next batch and make that much more money because of it. So if you can cut that time in half, you're making double the amount of money. So that's a great way to make sure that you're making enough money with Instacart in 2022. Another important thing to make sure that you're making enough money with this is to save as much money as possible. Now, a huge expense for drivers is gas and their cars and maintenance. So you want to use apps like Upside in order to get as much money as you can back from gas, so that you're not just putting money on a card towards gas, but you're actually getting money back. There's going to be a link in the description below, and to get you a little bit more when you're starting out as well. But we want to use apps like the Upside in order to not only make as much money, but to save as much money as possible. You want to make sure you're also taking care of the maintenance for your car. Try to do as much as you can on your own, like oil changes or filters. If you're like me, I try not to do anything on my own. It's not the greatest thing, but in my experience, every time I try to do something on my car, it ends up costing me 4 times more because I broke something else. If you're like me, it's better to just have someone do everything. But if you're mechanically inclined and you can do with cars, then it's best to try to do as much as you can on your own to save that amount of money. But make sure that no matter if you do it yourself or you have someone else do it, do the maintenance on your car, because eventually, if you don't, it'll be far more money to get it back up to repaired, or worse yet, to get a new car because you didn't take care of it. So make sure that you're taking care of your car. That's how you're making money. You want to make sure that that is exactly what you're doing, taking as best care of it as you can, so that you can continue to make as much money as possible. And then finally, you want to make sure that you're branching out and doing other things other than Instacart. So you want to try to multi-app as much as possible. So if you're delivering groceries and you just like to stick with delivering, which I really love delivering, I'm not as huge a fan of having passengers in my car. I do it, but I'm not as huge a fan. I also have Uber Eats, I have Grubhub, we have Doordash, we have all of those other things out there that you're able to sign up for, deliver that you can deliver food directly to people. It's still delivering, you don't have people in your car, but you're able to make additional money. And if you want to do the passengers, you can sign up for Uber, for Lyft, and you're able to make all that extra money from the multi-apping when Instacart is slower. And there are going to be times when Instacart is slower. So having multiple apps open at the same time, you can take whichever one is going to make you the money at that moment, and you're able to make that much more. So please, if this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Any questions about driving for Instacart in 2022, we'd love to help. We read every single comment. Please subscribe to the channel. We have new episodes that come out every single week, all helping you to make as much money as possible, no matter what service you drive for. So please subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it, and stay safe out there, everyone.